Hey, welcome to Be That, Create That, the podcast where we teach women in leadership to step confidently into their next level in career and life, using some intentional action steps so that they can be who they admire and create what they desire. I'm Trian Top. I'm a leadership performance coach, inspired working with women in areas of all leadership and personal development. A true personal development junkie, because I have seen the shifts that have happened in my life and in the lives of my clients and teams with these types of tools applied. I believe happiness equals progress and fulfillment is then the result. So I know with small intentional actions in leading ourselves every day, we can make the impact we'd like to see in the world around us through leadership and influence. In this podcast, you're going to hear everyday leadership lessons from my clients, my teams, or my own experiences that have improved communication, culture, collaboration, ultimately creating a ripple effect throughout our networks. So let's get started and let's get intentional. So today is going to be a special episode. I'm sharing with you one of our interviews from Intentional Women Making an Impact. These are going to be found in our Facebook community, and it was started with the purpose of realizing there's all these, I think at the time we had over 500 women as part of our community, and there's all this expertise and all these great things that are happening, and I didn't feel like the community was getting the opportunity to engage and share those things that they had going on. So I started the series with that in mind. How can I show that there's all these opportunities out there to collab or just get to know and connect so that we can really enrich all of our lives? That's that ripple effect, right? So Intentional Women Making an Impact is a series specifically inside that community. It's also found on my YouTube channel. And in the show notes, I'll share a way, if you're interested in being part of that interview series, that you can schedule a time to be part of that series as well. As for today, let's celebrate the women who have been part of Intentional Women Making an Impact already, as I share some of those episodes with you sprinkled throughout the podcast. And I hope that you enjoy. Hey everybody, Trian here. Welcome back to another episode of Intentional Women Making an Impact. I love to share this series inside our group because it's taking the people who are already in our community and really helping them understand how that they can engage and get to know each other. It also gives people who would like to share their knowledge and what they have going on pre-approval for posts. So I would love to introduce our next guest, today's Intentional Women Making an Impact. Her name's Aimee Glass. I met Aimee through another person in the coaching program that I'm in. So I'm going to give her the chance to talk about all the great things that she has going on, how she's making an impact every day, where it all started. And I just want to welcome you guys to another episode of Intentional Women Making an Impact. All right, welcome on. Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
So good to have you here.
Yeah, good morning from Australia. So it is 7:17 a.m. On Tuesday. So I'm technically in the future, and the future's looking fantastic. So
so good. You know, Australia is one of those places that was always on my bucket list to want to go. And it's through this coaching group that we're in. I actually have, I think, 3 people that I've spoken to from Australia. Plus, in the book collab that I'm in, I have one person from Tanzania, which is interesting to me. And I love how Facebook groups and these programs that we're joining, you know, you're investing in yourself, give you the opportunity to meet all these great people.
Yeah, it's amazing. Social media is it has both good and bad, and I know both sides very well. So my day job is helping the community. I am what they call a sort of, trying to explain it. It's different in the States, but I'm a civilian officer in the police force and have been for many years. And I deal with all the bad side of social media all day. And then once that's finished, I come on and I bring light to social media, and it is a fantastic tool to meet so many amazing people, especially women. And with my chronic illness, it's a very rare condition that I have. So I haven't physically met anyone that has it. But now, since being on social media, I've actually been able to connect with others, which is just absolutely amazing. And it's fantastic support in that aspect. So and being able to do like interviews like this is just in complete different days and time zones. It's just amazing.
That's awesome. So share a little bit just about yourself, what you're currently working on, and how you're using what you were doing in corporate, or what you're doing in corporate, to make an impact for yourself more personally.
Yeah, so I have a group called A Glass of Natural Health and Wellness, and it's all about revamping your life, stopping the surviving, and start living your best life through mindset, health, and wellness education. I'm very passionate about mental health. I have suffered mental health majority of my teenage years and into my adulthood, and especially because of a chronic illness. It goes hand in hand, but also because what I'm exposed to at work. So I'm exposed to quite horrific things, and it does take an impact. But then I also see it on both sides. I see victims, I see perpetrators, I see officers and colleagues that are suffering from mental health. I see it everywhere, and there's so many different aspects that people can do, like just little things that they could do every day that actually help to build their resilience. And I found, especially with COVID, resilience levels have drastically dropped, and people have been suffering. And I'm just like, this has got to stop. People need to start living. And I'm first to admit, felt I was trapped, and in a very bad way. And I just thought, well, this is never going to change. Nothing's going to happen. And then I'm like, you know what? No, you have a background in psychology. You know what's happening. Let's start doing some other things to heal yourself from all the trauma that you've suffered. And that is an ongoing process, but also able to help others in the process. So that's my mission. And I'm
some of this like dark situation, and we can either sit there and we can go darker, or we can say, but you know what? I'm a person who can do something about how people are feeling. I'm a person who can bring some education to this. So how do I do that in a way that's like, not necessarily saying you have to do it this way, but saying, here's some information. I'm the light. Do what you can with it. I just want to help you make your life better, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Like in my little team that I work with, because we are, we're what we call frontline. So we deal with emergency situations all the time. We deal with quite horrific things. So I make it sort of my mission that every time I'm in the office, which I'm not in office, I'm only in the office a couple of times a week, just to bring a little bit of happiness. I have these really funny little affirmation cards, and I get everyone to do an affirmation, and they are quite funny. So they make you laugh, and that's just something simple. And then if anyone's having a bad day, I'm just like, hey, do you want to listen to this little bit of meditation? It really calms me down. Or, hey, let's just have a little chat. What's going on? Or let's go for a walk. Anything like that, just to change your mindset and get you out of that little bit of a situation before you go further into that negative mindset. Because negativity is it's contagious, and once one person is negative, the whole office and the whole dynamic changes. So, and it's the same for positivity. So if you get one person being positive, the rest of the environment changes as well. So yeah.
So tell us how you have your Facebook group now. and you're still doing your other job. What was that click for you one day where you were like, I just think I'm going to start a Facebook group? Like, what did that process look like?
No. No, it's been over a year now. I worked in a particular unit for a very long time. I was severely bullied in that unit and treated very poorly, but I thought because of my condition that no one else was going to hire me. They kind of made me feel like I was completely worthless. So, but one day I get a phone call saying, you're out. There was no reason for it. They're just like, you're out. So I'm just like, oh, okay, what is going to happen to me? And that at the particular time, my condition was progressing because it's degenerative. And I'm just like, well, I need to start thinking long term. What can I do long term that can help people have a purpose, but be able to do it from home or on my own terms? And then a friend of mine introduced me to network marketing. That wasn't my thing, but that led me to finding Kimberly and the Ignited Life coaching program. And I'm like, and her and my other coach, Wendy, are like, you're definitely a giver, you're a sharer, you have a fantastic story, definitely use it to help others. And that's what you like doing. So let's get into that.
Well, and in your Facebook group, I mean, I'm in your Facebook group and I've gone through many of your posts and absolutely love, but tell us a little bit about you've got like a weekly series on there.
Yeah, I do Mindset Mondays every Monday, and it's basically just 5 inspirational or motivational quotes to set your week with intention. Just give you something to, and each week there's a different theme. So I just did yesterday's because it was Monday here, and it was body positivity. So it's all about self-love and being comfortable in your own skin. So that's the whole week. And the next week it's going to be something different, but it's normally always a positive way of either positive thinking, self-love, self-worth, all those kinds of things. I do also do Wellness Wednesdays. I haven't done that for a little bit because we've just been focusing on motivation this January, but I go live and I just give you an easy tip to improve your health naturally. I'm all about natural health. Coming from I've been in and out of hospital majority of my life and been put on so many different things, and I'm now I take one medical drug that I have to take, but everything else I do not, is all natural stuff. I'm very passionate about that, especially around pain. So I follow an anti-inflammatory diet. I'm very passionate about sharing that and how much that has helped. And and the group's all about giving you motivation tips and how to improve your life. Sometimes we share recipes. Sometimes we share just a motivational quote, a little bit of inspiration. I've got an excellent freebie about self-care, and they're just so easy tips, like everyday tips, that 10 of them that you could fit. Some of them are like less than a minute, but they all little things that make a big impact in your life. And that's what it's all about, easy ways to improve your life.
I love that. So when you think about the vision of where this group is going or where yourself and your coaching is going, what's kind of that next step for you, or that next piece of the vision? What are we working towards right now?
I'm working towards starting a podcast, because a lot of people have said podcasting is probably your thing, and I'm feeling it. When I do have sometimes a bit of struggle with when I spend 8 hours a day in the negative side of social media, trying to bring that energy in the afternoons after work. Sometimes I do find that hard, especially when I'm not feeling too great. And so I'm like, well, podcasting, I don't have to show my face, but I can talk and I can do that kind of thing too. And I can reach a broader audience as well. But my group, I'm definitely going to be doing some more group trainings, especially around mindset and manifesting, and all things that are just simple ways to improve that negative mindset, especially around self-talk. I'm a massive sufferer of negative self-talk. I have hated myself for a very long time and don't anymore. But that's years of basic self-abuse, and that led to so many mental health problems. And I'm like, it's simple ways to improve it is to start treating myself nicely and speaking. And look, it's not easy, but there are some simple ways but really hard to do to stop that. And a lot of people don't realize that self-talk, the negative self-talk, has such a wide range of effects. Like, it affects your health, it affects your mental health. It also brings more of that negativity into your life. So if you think, like, if you're treating yourself, if you're saying, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly, blah, 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 that is allowing those nasty people to come into your life and treat you like that, because they're like, well, you're treating yourself like that inside your mind. Why can't I treat you like that? So from a bullying background, being bullied and all that, I kind of realize now that my negative self-talk was allowing others to treat me in a way that I was treating myself. So now that I treat myself in a kind way, I have a fantastic work environment now. I have very supportive bosses, higher ranked officers than me. And a lot of people have seen the shift in me, and it's like I now bring light, whereas before it was kind of like I looked drawn and washed out and all that kind of stuff. And
Well, how long would you say that you started your practice before you started to see some natural signs where it was like easier to have that positive self-talk, or easier to have those affirmations, or easier, to fit that into your life where it didn't feel awkward? Because at first, when, like Mel Robbins, we were talking about her before we started recording, she says, high five yourself in the mirror every day. That feels really silly at first, but after a while, it's like, oh shoot, got to go back. I forgot, so, explain, maybe how long it felt like it took before it felt like it was a comfortable change for you.
Well, any habit, there's research to say that any habit, it takes at least 2 weeks in order to stick. And it's all about neurological pathways. So because I have a psychology background, I'm like, I know what therapy's like. I've done that, been there. It hasn't really worked. I do understand it. So I was like, I know what really works is neuro-linguistic reprogramming, NLP. And I'm like, well, okay, let's see if I can find something for that. And I found a particular app, and I pay for a subscription, and it's listening to, I think it's about 40 minutes. And I listen to it. You're supposed to listen to it while you're doing things. So your subconscious is listening to it, and you're remapping your brain. And I did that it says do it for 2 weeks straight. And when you start getting the little negative self-talk start going, that means,
right?
That means it's working, because they're not going to give up without a fight. I also have another sort of, I came up with a kind of theory, well, not a theory, but a way to do it. So I call it the IACT process. So that's IACT. So I create an image for the inner critic. So it could be someone that looks like you. It could be someone that you don't like, or it could be an object. It could be a toaster, for all that matter. But just disassociate from your true self and put your inner critic into another area.
Sorry.
I'm surprised mine too haven't.
Well, my husband just got home, so of course they're like, someone's here. So the first one was image. The second one,
so awareness. So you need to become aware of when the image, your person or whatever. I created a person. She looked like me, but she was just like my evil twin. And I call her Charlie. I don't know why, but she's just called Charlie. And so it's awareness.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, That's right. Charlie's just piping her little, she's just saying something nasty. Bye-bye. And then the next one, C, is cross-examine. So because I'm from a police background, I'm like, well, to me, it's kind of like in a courtroom or in a police interview room, you put your image on the thing and go, well, can you provide me some evidence? You're saying I'm ugly. Well, can you provide me some evidence on that? It's sort of like question it back. Try and get it to say evidence. And trust me, they're gonna pull the most randomest things out of nowhere that you have no memory of, and they'll distort it to make it be in their best interest. But yeah, it's kind of like, well, talk back to it, because the reason why negative self-talk is so rampant and so damaging is because it goes unchecked. If you said to a random stranger or your loved one, oh God, you're so freaking stupid and ugly and all that kind of stuff, they'd be like, excuse me, what?
Yes.
They'd fight back, but you don't fight back because you're like, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, must be true because it's me telling myself that. But it's not. 99.99% of what the inner critic is saying is lies.
Right.
It's distorted memories or anything like that. And so, yeah, the next one, is cross-examination. And the last one is truth. So understanding the difference between your inner critic and when your truth is talking. And when your truth is talking, it's normally going to be in a supportive manner. It's easy. You've got the not so nice lady, we'll call her the bee. And then we've got the, you've got the whole, the whole devil and angel on your shoulder sort of situation, kind of think of that. And so your truth's going to say, oh, you're looking really good in the mirror. You look good. That's a nice outfit. Hey, that's a great job. You did really well today. That kind of thing. So that's the I process. And I found that helps a lot. And with the remapping and stuff, it does. It makes a big difference. And just doing gratitude's another one. A lot of people say, gratitude, you got a good, and I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, yeah, I'm grateful. I know I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. And so before this year, like last year, I have a Post-it note on my computer. It's just I got so many Post-it notes, and it said, just say 3 things that you're grateful for before you, when you get up and when you go to bed. But now I have a diary, and every day I write at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. And normally, because it's a page per week, I don't have enough room. So I think next year I'll have a bigger diary, like maybe a page per day. But it just makes a difference because it makes you feel better. And also, when you are giving gratitude to the amazing things in your life, you're going to get more of that because it's the law of attraction. So it's a win-win.
Yes. I love that you say that because, so we have a challenge called the 21-day morning rush challenge. And in that challenge, one of the top things that we do is 3 things that we're grateful for or more. We do 3 to 5 as the goal, and trying to explain to people, like, you cannot be ticked off and feeling that warmth of gratitude at the same time. So trying to, take a situation, and it's a crap situation that happens sometimes, right? And saying, okay, but first of all, what am I learning here? What is that lesson? And then saying, I'm grateful for this lesson. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm so grateful for the people I met. I'm so grateful for, and you just start to spin it and spin and spin. And you come up with more things to be grateful for, but you're altering that state.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't be, you're right. You can't be in a bad mood when you're practicing gratitude. You can't be in a bad mood when you're giggling.
Right.
If you're having a really crap day, watch something that makes you laugh. You will instantly feel better, because you cannot be angry and laugh. I've tried, because my husband likes to, he does that. He knows when I'm having a bit of a moment. I'm getting angry and frustrated. He'll come and he'll just make me laugh. I'm like, oh, I'm so angry at you for doing that, but I can't be unhappy anymore.
You for getting me out of my charge. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right. So we will make sure we get a link to your Facebook group in the notes. I also, if you don't mind sharing, the 10 ways for self-care.
Oh, yeah,
10 ways for
100%.
self-care. So we'll make sure we get that in the notes as well for everybody. And at the end of this, again, because I've had you on the hot seat for the last 20 minutes, I always give you an opportunity to ask any sort of question that you would like to ask of me. It's only fair in love and war, right? So you're welcome to shotgun me a question as well.
Oh, mine's drawing a blank.
I know.
Yeah. Can't think of this time in the morning. Oh, yes, I can think of this time in the morning because I start work at 6. So normally
I'm a morning person. So for me being like, it's 4 p.m. our time. So for being 4 p.m. our time, I'm already like, I've burnt everything out for the day. You know what I mean? I get up usually between 5 and 5:30, and it's like go, 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 go until 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then after that, I'm a person, but I'm not firing on all.
Yeah, I do 6 to 2 shifts. So yeah, I'm up anywhere between 4:30 and 5, and then finish work at 2. And then normally if I'm at home, I'll go straight into doing my business or coursework and stuff. And then when I'm in town, in the office, it's an hour away, so I've got an hour's drive.
Oh wow!
And that, Australia is really big.
Yes, we were talking about that beforehand. Yes. So, you were talking about wanting to start a podcast. That's interesting. Yeah. So my old job used to be like a 30 to 45 minute commute. And that's actually how I started shifting my own mindset. Is my sister was like, have you ever listened to podcasts? You would really like podcasts, and they're free on your iPhone. And I'm like, how do I even get to those? I was totally at a grumpy spot. My second daughter was 9 months old, and we hated each other. And it was a situation. So I was like, I've got to adjust what's happening up here, and I'm going to have to do it myself, So I started listening to Lori Harder's podcast, Earn Your Happy. And this was, my daughter's 8 now, so over 8 years ago. And I have subscribed to a number of them by now and started my own. And at this point, I'm like, podcast saved my life, saved my kid's life, probably. But it was that commute going back and forth and being able to use that time. I called it Automobile University at the time, because I would just listen to information to keep my mind learning and growing and focusing on what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've now got a question for you.
Okay.
What do you think was the hardest thing to do, like as part of shifting that mindset? What do you think was the hardest part of that? Was it starting, or was it sticking to it, or both?
I don't think it was the starting so much as it was, and I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was time consuming, was to find the process that worked for me. Because like I say in my morning rush challenge, like I could give you a morning routine of 10 to 50 items and say, do these every day. But if you are not bought in and they are not specifically working for you in your life, you're not going to make the changes. You're going to make changes, but you're not going to make the changes that you could make because it's geared more towards you. Right. Yeah. So in morning rush, I have them come up with their own morning routine, whether it's 2 things or it's 10 things. The point is, then we stick to it for a number of weeks. And I would say that that's been the biggest difference, is I just had to find out what worked for me. Yeah. And then I have to stop myself whenever I get to a point where I might not really steer away from it, but maybe I skip like listening to a podcast every once in a while, or maybe I skip writing down my gratitudes, because it does make a huge difference. Mm. So I think the consistency and figuring out what worked for me was probably the 2 main ones.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part. A lot of people think, I need to, like the conventional way of changing mindset, or especially around mental health, is like, I'll go and see a therapist. Sometimes therapy, it is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's not the whole answer. It could be the start of something. But you've got to find something that works for you. And you've got to also think outside the box too, because there's a massive research in relation to gut health and your mood. Mm-hmm. So if you have really poor diet and all that kind of stuff, that's affecting your mood as well. So you could be doing the most amazing therapy in the world and still not feel fantastic because the other side is not getting fixed. So it's a whole journey. So
it's interesting that you say that, because at that time, like I was living off of 3 Musketeers and coffee and trying to breastfeed. So like what?
Yes.
So not only was I not giving that nutrition to myself, but anything I was giving myself was coming straight out. So I started on some proper vitamin supplements at the time. I started really thinking about what it was that I was putting into my body, even if it wasn't often enough throughout the day. It was drinking more water, that kind of stuff. So sometimes the mindset thing, like you said, it's not just gratitude journaling. What are you listening to? What are you reading? It's also garbage in, garbage out, right? So
Yeah,
you put the
100%.
good stuff in, you get the good stuff out, and it's with your nutrition as well.
Yeah. Your body, if you think of your body like a car, if you fill it with the wrong petrol or the wrong, you call it gas, wrong gas, it's not going to work.
Right.
Like it might get down the street, but it's just going to go. So yeah, it's that approach too. And people, like I said, I've been in therapy a lot, and there was a program I did years ago, and it was about pain. Because of my condition, I have a high levels of pain, and I went to this pain clinic by force. By the way, I was not. I did not want to go.
Come on down.
And I was the only one there that wasn't on like very, very high painkillers, and they're like, everyone chatting in the group, and they're like, "Oh, what are you on?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I take some Panadol or something when I really, really need to, but I manage through diet and that." And they're just like, "Huh?" And then there was a psychologist there, and she's like, "Yeah, no, 100%. You can control pain through diet and mindset, because a lot of it is up here, unfortunately." The whole, I don't know, the old school movie, The Matrix, the body can't live without the mind. So so if you have a bad mind, the body's going to be bad, and if the body's bad, there's going to be a bad mind. So it's that whole circle. It's a whole approach. That's why my group's called a natural health and wellness, because it's both. You've got to have the health and you've got to have the mindset as well. So full circle.
Ed Milet has a book out, The Power of One More, which you may be interested in, because there is a whole chapter in there about the Matrix, as our life or what have you. And he compares it to that movie. And it's really a beautiful chapter. So you'll have to check that out. The Power of One More. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on here today. You've given our group a lot to think about. You were very generous with your freebies. Super appreciate it. Hopefully, once you get that podcast started, because you will, then I can return the favor for you as well. But thank you everybody for jumping on today. And Aimee, you were just awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It still blows my mind that I'm part of this world. So yeah, thank you so much.
I think it's great. You're doing some beautiful work. All right, everybody, we will see you on the next episode of Intentional Women Making an Impact, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.